गणपतये नमः। ॐ गणपतये नमः। ॐ गणपतये नमः।
Hi there, these are the Vedas, some of the oldest scriptures in the world, read by billions over generations. For this presentation we are interested in the Sri Ram Bhagavatam, a Purana. The Sri Ram Bhagavatam is the very essence of all the Vedanta literature. It is said that one who has enjoyed the nectar of its rasa never has any desire for anything else. The book centers around the love and times of Krishna, an avatar of Vishnu, and returning back to him or returning back to source. The Sri Ram Bhagavatam translates as the story of the fortunate one. It has 12 cantos, and we are interested in cantos 5, the creative impetus, where it talks of our universe cosmology. All Puranas are authored by Veda Vyasa, who is revered for authoring the Mahabharata as well. According to the Vishnu Purana, Veda Vyasa is a title applied to the compilers of the Vedas who are avatars of Vishnu. 28 people with this title have appeared so far. Veda Vyasa translates as the splitter of the Vedas. It is said that Veda Vyasa spoke and Ganesh, the elephant-headed deity, son of Shiva and Parvati, actually wrote the words down. This is believed so much the stone carvings of this exist at Angkor Wat. Before we continue, remind yourself that all the ancient world said the world was flat, and it is only within the last few centuries the Jesuits and their military's NASA Photoshop told us it was a spinning ball. Also know that the Sri Ram Bhagavatam explains our universe in so much detail, more than any other document from the ancient world, including the Bible and Quran, so we must look at it closer. I'm going to present some animations and images to help explain the content of the Sri Ram Bhagavatam. Here is Bhumandala, a vast flat disk that splits the universe into an upper heavenly half and a lower darker half. Bhumandala literally just means circle, with a diameter of 4 billion miles. Bhumandala is the centre disk of the 14 vertical divisions of the universe into which souls transmigrate as a result of desire and karma. Those above Bhumandala are predominantly in the mode of goodness, sattva. Those below Bhumandala tend to the mode of ignorance, tamas. And those residing along the Bhumandala are a mixture of the modes, but predominantly in passion, rajas. This is where we are. This Bhumandala disk has 7 concentric islands and oceans that have their own unique characteristics. Jambudvipa is the central island, continent, landmass of Bhumandala. In other words, it is the very centre of the universe. The ocean that surrounds Jambudvipa is made of salty water, and the last outer concentric ocean is made of water as sweet as Amrit, the celestial drink. The earth we live on is a part of this central place known as Jambudvipa. Mount Meru is in the centre of Jambudvipa, so theoretically, if we go far north over the Arctic, we will come to Meru. Meru is really the centre of the expanded world. So now, Jambudvipa itself is divided into 9 sections called Varshas in Sanskrit. The earth we know and live on is a part of the Bharata Varsha, which is made up of 9 land areas or realities, of which we, our earth, is just one. Meru is also known as Semeru in some places in India, and at the top of Meru the demigods live. We will come to that soon. Remember, Jambudvipa and its salt ocean is just the central island and ocean of 7 concentric islands and oceans. So it's obvious to see the links to Plato's Atlantis in this whole model. In this map, we are looking down on Jambudvipa. So here you see the 9 divisions of Jambudvipa. In the centre you see a yellow circle which represents Mount Meru. Note this is not to scale. The vertical and horizontal lines separating each Varsha represent mountain ranges. If we go south from Meru, we pass an area called Hari Varsha. Then we pass Kimpurusa Varsha until we come to Bharata Varsha, where we are. These place names are written in the Devangari script. We live in Bharata Varsha, which is made up of 9 land areas or realities of which we, our Earth, is just one. In this Vedic map, we see the same thing, but a little differently. But they use a different spelling for the same places. Hurikund is Hari Varsha, Kinnakund is Kimpurusha Varsha, and Berutkund is Bharata Varsha. They're just different spellings for the same places. This map has split Bharata Varsha into the 9 regions I've recently talked about, but they are using a different language. Indrakund is Indradwipa, Nagakund is Nagadwipa, Sumakund is Swamadwipa. The horizontal lines dividing Bharata Varsha on this map could cause some confusion, because Bharata Varsha is not actually divided horizontally, it is divided east to west, as I will show you soon in another animation. I found something strange just before I arrived in India. This Jain map of the Earth, I just couldn't understand it. Then I noticed it fitted exactly with the prior map. In this map, the mountains are represented by little zigzag patterns that actually look like mountains. This ancient Jain map also shows something interesting. It shows we are part of the Bharata Varsha in a section of Jambudvipa on the plain of Bhumandala. The little earth map in the image, however, is not to scale though, as there are 8 other sections belonging here, but someone knew something when they made this map for sure. Bharata Varsha is important for us because that's where our Earth and the other 8 land masses or realities are. Bharata Varsha is measured at 72,000 miles across, so according to the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are other areas of Bharata Varsha to the east and west of our known Earth area, and to the north of our known continents past the Arctic, one would be coming to Kimpurusha Varsha. According to my calculations, none of these areas are really that very far away, but we are restricted from accessing them at the moment by the ice walls and our Illuminati Archonic controllers. In the Vedic literature, distances and heights are measured in units called yojanas. There is some argument to the precise distance of a yojana. Usually scholars debate within a range of 5 to 8 miles per yojana, but most go with 8 miles per yojana. The measurements given for the breadth of Jambudvipa is 100,000 yojanas or 800,000 miles. On this map we can see it's marked ocean. This ocean surrounding Jambudvipa is the same ocean that we sail and swim in, but we are presently only aware of a small section of a much greater ocean, it seems. The Vedic history states that these areas were somehow connected only 5,000 years ago. So, these divisions of Jambudvipa and the division of Bharata Varsha are better illustrated in the following animation. So here we can see many islands or realities within Jambudvipa. Think of Bharata Varsha as being these 9 islands or land masses lying east and west of each other at the southern point of Jambudvipa, and we are one of them. It is said that Bharata Varsha is the best of the Varshas, because although the other Varshas to the east, north and west of Meru have far greater extent of worldly pleasures to indulge in, one cannot attain liberation there. Endeavours for liberation and God realization are only possible here in the 9 Bharata Varsha islands, land masses or realities. These mountain ranges near Mount Meru are said to be 80,000 miles high. Mount Meru is an inverted cone and the demigods live on top. On top is the resort of Brahma called Manavati, where the famous celestial rivers flow out into 4 directions. Surrounding Manavati in the 8 directions are the resort cities of the chief demigods. One of these cities is Amaravati, resort of Indra, king of heaven, where he hangs out in majestic opulence with musicians, dancers and reciters. I think he may have a little bit of Shiva's charis there, as it looks a bit like a Dionysus-style party, but I'm only speculating. Some say that the whole of Bharatavarsha is our Earth, as we can see in this diagram, and that today's India is located in the exact middle of Bharatavarsha. I don't agree with this, as I don't see the Sri Ram Bhagavatam agreeing with this, but it's worth knowing that this thought exists out there. Now for some Vedic mythology regarding the cosmology from the Sri Ram Bhagavatam. From Vishnu's navel came a lotus from which Brahma was born. Initially the universe was pitch black, and Brahma engaged in meditation. Then he was empowered to create the universe. One may take a leap of faith to believe this, but certainly no more than believing in the NASA or Big Bang nonsense. The Srimad Bhagavatam talks of 14 vertically arranged planetary systems, or lokas. Each one comprising of stars, planets and other celestial bodies, but not one mention of any spinning spheres. The top one is Suchaloka, the abode of Brahma, 1.87 billion miles above us. Next down is Tupaloka, the abode of the ascetics, nearly 1 billion miles above us. These ascetics live in a solitary, serene environment of meditation, yoga and bliss. The disciplined life of joyous austerity prepares them for coming back to the material world to further evolve the soul. Personally, I would just hang out there and pop to Indra's parties at the weekends and forget about the material plane. But that's just me. Because when one pops down here, the veil comes down and we can forget our connection to Source and get stuck here for hundreds, if not thousands of carnations. Some of them could be where one is actually stuck in England, and that's just too big a risk to take. I'm going to show one more way of looking at the Vedic cosmology in an animation interpreted from the Sri Ram Bhagavatam. And with what you've learned thus far, it should now start to make a lot of sense. Here is Shisha holding up the whole universe. Anunta speaking to the 4 Kumaras. There are 7 subterranean demonic realms. The lowest and 7th is called Patal, where serpents reside. 4 to 6, Talatal, Mahatal and Rasatal, where nocturnal beings reside. And 1 to 3, Atal, Vital and Sutal, where demons reside. Here we can see Jambudvipa, the central island of Bhumandala. Bharata Varsha is on the southern side. There are 8 other Varshas, with Lavatra Varsha in the centre. At the centre of Lavatra Varsha is Mount Meru. On top are the cities of the demigods. Moving out, we can see the 7 concentric islands and oceans of Bhumandala. On the 7th island there are some mountains with more cities of demigods. Out further is Loka Loka mountain. Elephants are on top of this mountain to balance Bhumandala. Here we see the moving luminaries. But it's still unknown if the sun we see here is the sun we know, and how this really works. As I've said before, to solve the sun is to solve the map. Above the luminaries we know are more luminary systems. Above here we come to the realm of the 7 sages. Then Dhruvaloka, which some say is the pole star. Here on an ocean of milk we find Vishnu, residing on an undershesh. Moving up beyond there, we have Mahaloka, where ancestral devas reside, then Jahaloka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka. Here is Brahma in Satyaloka, and a form of Vishnu again. Above here are the 7 coverings of the universe, the 4 elements, etc. Then we have Shiva, where he resides eternally. Full power. Then we have another form of Vishnu, being served by Ramadevi, where many universes come out of him. Then we come to the Vaikuntha realm, with 24 luminaries. And then we come to Lord Krishna. In the ancient and well-known Gayatri mantra, we chant Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. The word Bhur refers to Bhumandala. The next line, Tat Zavitur Varenyam, translates to the sunshine spreads throughout Bhumandala. We are chanting about the sun deity and light upon our flat earth. But many New Agers chanting this don't have a clue. In the Sri Ram Bhagavatam 5.20.46, it says, all living entities, including demigods, human beings, animals, birds, insects, reptiles, creepers and trees, depend upon the heat and light given by the sun god from the sun planet. Furthermore, it is because of the sun's presence that all living entities can see, and therefore he is called Drigisvara, the personality of Godhead presiding over sight. Here is an image of the central Varsha on Jambudvipa, Ilavtra Varsha, with Meru in the middle. This interpretation shows gardens and lakes, mountains. Maybe just this central Varsha is the Atlantis Plato spoke of. So now when we see these images of Vedic cosmology, with what we now know, they make much more sense, and they have more depth. So does this Tibetan image, and these Buddhist images. And even this Nordic image. This other land image now holds more meaning, as does this one. As we know about Bharata Varsha and its 9 areas of land. This image is very interesting. It is said in a text written by a master devotee of Krishna consciousness, Krishnadas Kaviraja, that people from all over the universe, including the 7 islands, the 9 Varshas, the planets of the demigods, Gandharvaloka and Kinaraloka, would go there in the forms of human beings. Now this style of temple is found all over India, Cambodia, Bali and many other Hindu-based locations. But look at the meanings within these temple designs. It says here Burloka, for the flat part upon which humans walk. Now Burloka is another word for Bhumandala. Here are 3 websites that state this fact. So it seems all of these temples could be a symbolic representation of our flat plane and the divinity above. Images of temples and sites like this now take on a deeper meaning after looking at the Srimad Bhagavatam. Here is an ancient artwork from a myth regarding an avatar of Vishnu, Lord Vahara. From the Sri Ram Bhagavatam, Vishnu, O Lord, as the peaks of great mountains become beautiful when decorated with clouds, your transcendental body has become beautiful because of your lifting the earth on the edge of your tusks. This explanation is also confirmed by Sadaputta Dasa in his book Vedic cosmography and astronomy. I quote, "In the pastime of Lord Vihara's lifting the earth from the ocean, the earth is frequently depicted by artists as a familiar globe. However, the Sanskrit verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam describing this pastime do not use any words denoting a sphere when referring to the earth, and the Vishnu Purana indicates that Lord Varaha lifted Bhumandala as a whole. The relevant passage states that after lifting the earth from the waters, Lord Vihara divided it into 7 great continents, as it was before, thus indicating that the earth that was lifted included the 7 dweepas of Bhumandala. From meditating in a 600-year-old Vishnu temple in Udaipur on this matter, daily before sunrise, I feel this myth is to do with Bhumandala falling to demons and divinity coming down and raising it up in frequency, in vibration, so the demons could not frequent this reality anymore. It's probably about time Vishnu came back and did this again, one would have thought. It couldn't have been in a worse state of demonic rule than what is going on now. But maybe Vishnu is just busy in another one of his zillion universes he deals with. We shall wait patiently. There are many myths about the whole universe riding on the back of a tortoise called Kurma, another avatar of Vishnu, where he swims under the 7 demonic worlds which are under the flat disk of Bhumandala, in the ocean that fills the bottom half of the universe. It is said Kurma's sleepy breathing causes the tides. I like this quote from Goswami Prabhupada. May the appearance of Lord Kurma and the efficacy of his pastimes blow within the hearts of the conditioned souls like a favourable breeze, and alleviate the itching of their tendency for material enjoyments. I found some interesting symbolism in many temples. For one example, at the rare Brahma temple in Pushkar. Now remember from before, Burloka, the flat plane in temples, symbolising Bhumandala. We can see the elephants supporting and balancing the flat plane humans walk upon in the temple, just like in the Vedic cosmology. Here at another temple, we can see elephants outside, both just higher than my height. Remember, the elephants are at the top of Loka Loka mountain, in the 4 directions at the edge of Bhumandala, responsible for balancing the flat plane and maintaining the planetary systems of the universe. And if we slowly go round to the entrance of the inner temple, you see the elephants were just under the flat plane people walk on again. It seems these elephants are hiding Vedic flat earth symbolism in these temples, in plain sight. The Jain religion was born in India in the 6th century BC. It shares many similarities with Hinduism and Buddhism because it also came from the Vedas. Jains have 5 great vows: non-violence, ahimsa, truth, satya, non-stealing, asteya, celibacy, brahmacharya, and non-possessiveness, aparigraha. It is a very monastic and ascetic religion. Priests and saints often wear a muhapati over the mouth in order to save the lives of microscopic creatures. Jains are very much into the evolution of the soul. Their cosmology has humans living in the middle on a flat plane, and higher beings above and hellish beings below, in what is mainly 3 areas, just like what we saw in the introduction from the Sri Ram Bhagavatam. Here we can see more detail. The top area, Urdhva Loka, the realms of the gods or heavens. The middle section where we are is Madhya Loka, the realm of the humans, animals and plants. And below us is Adholoka, the realms of the hellish beings or the infernal regions. A soul can move up and down and around this universe, a bit like a snakes and ladders board. This is some old Jain art showing this. Here are more representations of Jain cosmology. Here we see the same but as a divine man. You see the map in the middle plane. Madhya Loka is depicted within the belly. In Jambuvipa there are 7 zones. Bharat Kshetra, which we know as Bharata Varsha. They also have Mahavida Kshetra, Airavat Kshetra, Ramyak, Haryanvat Kshetra, Hemava Kshetra and Hari Kshetra. 3 of these zones, Bharat Kshetra, where we are, Mahavida Kshetra and Airavat Kshetra, are also known as Karma Bhumi because practice of austerities and liberation is possible, and the Tirthankaras preach the Jain doctrine. The other 4 zones, Ramyak, Haryanvat Kshetra, Hemava Kshetra and Hari Kshetra, are known as Akarma Bhumi or Bog Bhumi, as humans live in sinless life of pleasure and no religion or liberation is possible. Tirthankara in Jainism is an omniscient teacher who preaches the Dharma. According to Jain texts, in each half of the cosmic time cycle, exactly 24 Tirthankaras grace this part of the universe. The first Tirthankara was Rishabhanatha, who is credited for formulating and organising humans to live in a society harmoniously. The inner knowledge of a Tirthankara is believed to be perfect and identical in every respect, and their teachings do not contradict one another. Their grace is said to be available to all living beings, regardless of religious orientation. They are said to be golden, red, white, black and also blue, but most are golden. Hindus and Jains agree that after the name of Rishabdev's eldest son Bharat, this country we live in is known as Bharata Varsha, or in Jain terms Bharat Kshetra. From the Sri Ram Bhagavatam, Cantos 11, Chapter 2, it states, Sri Abhadeva is accepted as an expansion of the Supreme Lord Vasudeva a popular name of Krishna. He incarnated in this world to propagate religious principles that lead living entities to ultimate liberation. He had 100 sons, all perfect in Vedic knowledge. The eldest son was Bharata, and he was completely devoted to Lord Narayana, or Vishnu. The Mahabharata was about the descendants of Bharata. The word Tirthankara signifies the founder of a tirtha, which means a fordable passage across a sea. It is also said the Tirthankaras show the fordable path across the sea of interminable births and deaths. But what sea is this talking about? Do we really know? Are Tirthankaras teachers that came from other Varshas, from other Vipas? Did these golden realised beings just pop up from some dusty village in India somewhere? This is starting to present a bit of a puzzle. After attaining Kevalanjanana, the Tirthankara preaches the path to liberation in the Samavasarana. According to Jain texts, Samavasarana is the heavenly pavilion erected by devas, heavenly beings, where devas, humans and animals assemble to hear the Tirthankara. A Tirthankara's speech is intercepted by all humans and animals in their own language. It is believed that during this speech there is no unhappiness for miles around the site. The art for these Samavasarana pavilions looks very much like Mount Meru and Jambudvipa symbolism. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it talks of Krishna and Arjuna going across the 7 continents and oceans and coming across a divine palace where Vishnu could be found. A divine palace is also the location for the whole of the Lotus Sutra, the highest sutra in Buddhism. In Jainism, cyclic time is found only in some areas of the central continent of Jambudvipa. As we saw, Jambudvipa has several regions. In the lands of enjoyment, people do not need to make any effort and can enjoy life. Here there's no cycle of time. However, in the lands of action, where us humans live, and where we suffer and must work to live, time forms a repeating cycle. The cycle of time is traditionally represented as a wheel with 12 spokes, known as the Kala Chakra, which is also found in a different way within Tibetan Buddhism. In the first phase of 6 half cycles, the quality of life gradually deteriorates, while in the second phase it slowly improves over the 6 periods. Each half cycle with 6 periods lasts different lengths of time. Each of these periods of time is enormously long, far longer than a human lifetime, but each have a fixed length. Don't kill the messenger, but we are right now at the bottom of the 5th Ara, the unhappy Dusam, heading towards the most unhappy 6th Dusam. The current 5th age began soon after the death of Mahavira, the 24th and final Jina of this era. It is said human beings born in this current stage cannot reach liberation, and that around 2,500 years have elapsed and 18,500 years are still left of this current age. At the end of this 5th era, the Jain religion will disappear, only to appear back with the advent of the first Tirthankara in the next cycle. But souls have their own karma matrix, so one could have a really good life in a time of sorrow, and inversely, a soul could have an unhappy life in a time of joy. The Jains place much Meru and flat earth symbolism within their temples. So I travelled out to the Ranakpur Jain temple in deepest Rajasthan, known as the 7th wonder of India, to see what I could find.
This is Wakey Wakey. We're in the middle of nowhere in Rajasthan. Behind me is the Ranakpur temple, one of the 7 wonders of India, they call it. It's a very famous Jain temple, and as we know, the Jains believe in the flat earth very openly and always have done. And luckily, the master priest here has met me and has agreed to an interview. So let's go inside.
The temple covers a 48,000 square feet area, with 29 halls, 80 domes, and all supported by a 1,444 marble pillars, each of them intricately and artistically carved, yet no 2 of them are alike. According to local legend, Dharma Sar had a celestial vision that left in his heart a burning determination to build a temple in honour of Adinath, the founder of the Jain religion. It took more than 50 years to build, and the entire building is covered with delicate lace-like carvings and geometric patterns. In spite of the complexity, the vast expanse, the loftiness of the temple, the architecture is completely balanced by using accurate symmetry. The artist's sculptures, which lie scattered like precious jewels, the myriad ornate toranas, or festoons, with minute and delicate carvings, the innumerable elegant and lofty pillars, and a large number of shikaras, which make a unique pattern on the face of the sky. All these works of spiritual art, as one approaches them, becomes alive, and makes the beholder oblivious of all else but a feeling of ecstasy, as if touched by the sublimity of divine bliss. Yet people in modern day call the builders of this temple ancient fools, and that their theories and philosophy were archaic nonsense.
My name is Sandeep Sharma, and I'm the high priest of the temple. Look after from 18th generation since 1496, beginning with the royal family, father to son, father to son. Right now I'm 18th generations of the head priest of the temple. Yeah, okay. Bharat Kshetra. This is Bharat Kshetra. Bharat, he is the son of Adina.
Yeah.
Who is in our Centum Centurion. Okay. And Bharat, we go different Eravat Kshetra. So I will show you. Come.
In the Bhagavatam, it says like in the middle is like Mount Meru. You know of this?
But in our language, it's different words.
Different words.
Yeah. I can understand.
And there's like 4 continents. This is like 4 billion miles. 4 different continents, and this Earth is flat, and we are just one down here.
Yeah.
And this is the same within the Jain religion.
Yes, we have. I will show you. Please come. Only
Okay.
1 minute. Walk with me. The first continent have all deities. Okay, the first part they decide with the east, and the east part they decide with the knowledge.
Okay,
The west part they decide with the desire.
okay,
The north part they decide with the health and wealth.
yeah.
And the south
Where
part
we are, this is us, isn't it?
exactly. And the south part they decide for protection from supreme.
Okay,
So this is the fourth part.
Yeah.
Okay. But in this they connect with attachments life. But other 4 continent. This is for religion.
yes,
It's very religious. This is special Lakeshwar Deep for the 4 different sections. And this is for the moksha.
okay,
It means if you renounce all attachment of worldly life,
yeah, all the perils of the flesh.
exactly, this is the part of this.
Okay.
But if you want to do something with attachments life,
You have to be here. Yeah.
so this is the 2 real means of Nandeshwar and Java.
In some of the Hindu philosophy, they say a soul can reincarnate in any of these places. Does Jainism say the same thing?
Yes, exactly. Jainism believe in the reincarnation. Exactly.
And you can go to a different part of this
Yeah.
universe.
Exactly. Ayodhya, Adinath.
Yeah.
He is our first prophet of Jain. He was born in Ayodhya family. He belonged to same family of Raja Ramchandra. He was deity. He was born in royal family. He was the ruler of Ayodhya. He had 102 children. One is the Bharat. And before the name of the Kshetra, Arya.
Yeah.
But you know, after Adinath, we call Bharat Kshetra. Kshetra means place, and Bharat is the name of his son.
These are different words than in Vedic, in Hindu, which is like Vashas, I think.
Yes, exactly. So only the words are different, but of course
the meanings the
meanings
same.
are very same.
Why do you think that Hinduism's sort of forgotten these roots from the Vedas and they've gone towards what I think are military organizations that lie, like NASA and the American government and the Western science funding, which are ruled by corporations? Why do you think Hinduism's fallen away from its tradition, but Jainism has still stayed true to the Vedas?
Because Jain believe in the real life, actually. Jainism strictly believe in non-violent life. Okay, people in the new generations, the many people, they study in university, they study in somewhere, so of course they forget some roots. But the most of people, and still people who live in the countryside where I live,
Believe the world's flat.
people, they believe we are equal, everything is so flat, we don't want to punish anyone.
We don't spin.
Yeah, because it's the Jivan Chakra. This is the chakra of the life, like a Kundalini. The first oldest man, according to Kundalini, and then you can see Kundalini, like here.
It seems now that in the Western world, a lot of people are worshipping science as God.
Yeah.
And even from a very young age at school, they're grabbing 5 and 7-year-old children whose minds are very open, and they're really pushing in, you're a random space monkey, you're like a part of chaos randomness, and they're taking away divinity. And me and some others believe this is something they're doing deliberately to take away divinity from people. What would you say about that?
We believe in totally divine energy, and we have a lot of, many people, they think this is mythological story, but we believe very deeply in divine energy. Of course, we are all part of
The one thing.
We are not different, and everything is decided by the God. He will send us, okay? And where is the sign is finished, then divine is. Where signs say is not possible for us, there is divine power can do it. We more believe in it.
What I've seen in America and in Europe is people waking up to this flat earth truth by easily dissecting the lies of NASA with these fake spaceships. And people are finding divinity, not specifically a god, but they're finding, wow, this is an intelligent design. Because if it's flat, then it has to be a divine reality.
Yes, exactly. Now people only make copies, not real. But we have a lot of evidence, and we have still many temples or still very old buildings. In that buildings you can see something old. Like this is the model of celestial plane. Boeing, big machine. This is a copy from the celestial plane. All those spaceship and everything, they are copied from the celestial plane. So I think divine is the first, energy is the first, and this is really wonderful thing. First time I meet someone, he had knowledge about this Jambudeep and Nandeshwar, but in my life, I never meet somebody in Venice.
This is forgotten. This is forgotten knowledge, but it's coming back.
Yes, exactly.
Because a lot of people know that these lies
traditions come back again.
They go in cycles.
Of course. Now the time has changed.
The times are changing.
Like in few years ago, people they stopped meditation and people they converted in the artificial life. It means they choose technology. They choose very fast.
And they want the supermarket. They want the entertainment.
But very soon, time is turned again. Very soon. What happened after technology and after these new scientists of the new world? The old things and the real things of Kundalini.
From my research, and I've been researching this sort of thing for 10 years, this is deliberate. There is some bad people in this world, and they are cutting off divinity with lies. Like companies like NASA, it's all rubbish, it's all nonsense, and people don't have the time to study NASA. And people just believe what they're told by the newspaper, by the television. But every day, thousands more people are starting to wake up to the lies going on. And they're going back to the ancient things like Jainism, like the Vedas, and they're finding truth there. What I find strange is in the West, in America and Europe, they sort of say, when you talk about the flat earth or Jambudipa or this ancient knowledge, people say, that's just the ancients, they didn't know anything, they were like barbarians.
Because people are they don't want to accept the truth.
But you look around at this building,
exactly.
and you see the advanced minds and the advanced dedication.
Because I will tell you, people are right now, the people have different things. People they don't think about past, and they don't want to search the truth, and they don't want to spend the mind for this
easy,
special thing.
like a
They
fast
just
food
want to
dinner.
take very easy life, and they want to spend the life. Okay, normally it's happened. But there are few people in the world, they really want to search. Like Adinath, he is the first one. He really want to search about the truth.
But
Like
with,
you,
but
me,
with
we are the
NASA,
few.
like no reincarnation, you don't have a soul, you're here once, you're a random monkey, then you're not going to care about your life. You just want entertainment, maybe sex, maybe food.
Yes.
But if you see all this and you want to evolve
Exactly.
to a higher place,
Exactly.
you're going to treat your life a bit more
Then
sacred.
NASA is wrong.
Yeah.
You have reincarnations. Hindu Sanatan Dharma have reincarnations. Jain Dharma have reincarnations. Without reincarnations, life is not possible. We have 84 chambers in this temple. We have 84 chambers, and if you walk clockwise and if you worship of this 84 chambers, you can stop the chain of 84 times. 84
I don't
hundred
understand.
thousands time of the chain of the reincarnations.
84,000, they say.
Yes, exactly. It's big chain. So it's nice to become again the human life. You have to do lot. Everything is so equal. Then you became a human life.
I want this to be my last one here. I want to get out of here.
Yeah. So then you have to follow the major principle. Then you reach the moksha, and if you reach the moksha, you can stop the chain of rebirth.
But maybe I just have another 2,000 lives left.
Yes,
here.
exactly. We don't know how much life is left, but of course we have good karma. Then we became a human life, because when you have the best karma, then God will give you the life of the human. And when you became a human, you are the part of God.
And you can change your karma. This is the only place to really change
This is
it.
the place to change your karma. If you do wonderful karma, then you can work again in human life. But if you do something very bad, then you reach the hell.
Down below this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No chance to see again the Nandeshwara Deep and
Yeah.
Jammu Deep.
And you can stay in the hell worlds for thousands of lives, I think.
Exactly. Then you have to. Then he will decide when you have something again, the one point of
Spark.
Yeah, and then they will give you a chance. So better to do the good karma.
But this is really the place, and from here to you can see the temple. It's look like a big celestial plane from the outside, like the shape of the temple, two big wings and the shape of the temple. So this is, it's like big celestial plane. So it's a wonderful plane and everything.
There are the 7 beautiful chakras. First is here, second is here, third is here, fourth is here, fifth, sixth, 7. 1 triangle, 1 kundalini, 5 sensors. But there are 2 more chakras, which is the hidden. One is over the crown and one is below your feet. Which 2 chakra, they control your energy and balance of the kundalini. East facing give you knowledge, activated from the inner side. Lot of divine energy. West facing, you open your crown, and what you have in your mind, it will become true. If you're meditating on the north section, you make balance with belly, and when the belly is equal balance, you get a lot of health and wealth. South, stop evil and get protection. You are well protected by the God. We use Om, the mantras, we chanting Om. It's gone from inner side, and then we're going into this Padmashanas, then we chanting mantras. meditation, Jain meditation, Catholic no. Meditation have no religion. Meditation is for human being, and we are all human beings, and we are equal to God. You can chant what you want. If you belong to Muslim, you can say Allah hai. If you are Catholic, you can sing English word. If you are Hindu, Jain, you can sing Om. But finally, the meaning is very simple. And conch, this is the beginning of moksha. This is moksha. Open the door of moksha and reach the moksha entrance. Yeah.
शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। यस्य द्विरतवक्त्राद्याः पारिषद्याः परश्शतम् विघ्नं निघ्नन्ति सततं विश्वक्सेनं तमाश्रये। व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्तेः पौत्रमकल्मषम् पराशरात्मजं वन्दे सुकतातं तपोनिधिम्। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। अविकाराय शुद्धाय नित्याय परमात्मने सदैकरूपरूपाय विष्णवे सर्वजिष्णवे। यस्य स्मरणमात्रेण जन्म संसारबन्धनात् विमुच्यते नमस्तस्मै विष्णवे प्रभविष्णवे। ॐ नमो विष्णवे प्रभविष्णवे। श्रीवैशम्पायन उवाच श्रुत्वा धर्मानशेषेण पावनानि च सर्वशः युधिष्ठिरः शान्तनवं पुनरेवाभ्यभाषत। युधिष्ठिर उवाच किमेकं दैवतं लोके किं वाप्येकं परायणम् स्तुवन्तः कं कमर्चन्तः प्राप्नुयुर्मानवा शुभम्। को धर्मः सर्वधर्माणां भवतः परमो मतः किं जपन्मुच्यते जन्तुर्जन्म संसारबन्धनात्। श्रीभीष्म उवाच जगत्प्रभुं देवदेवमनन्तं पुरुषोत्तमं स्तुवन्नाम सहस्रेण पुरुषः सततोत्थितः तमेव चार्चयन् नित्यं भक्त्या पुरुषमव्ययम् ध्यायन् स्तुवन् नमस्यंश्च यजमानस्तमेव च। अनादिनिधनं विष्णुं सर्वलोकमहेश्वरम् लोकाध्यक्षं स्तुवन् नित्यं सर्वदुःखादिगो भवेत्। ब्रह्मण्यं सर्वधर्मज्ञं लोकानां कीर्तिवर्धनम् लोकनाथं महद्भूतं सर्वभूतभवोद्भवम्। एष मे सर्वधर्माणां धर्मोऽधिकतमो मतः यद्भक्त्या पुण्डरीकाक्षं स्तवैरर्चयन्नरः सदा। परमं यो महत्तेजः परमं यो महत्तपः परमं यो महद्ब्रह्म परमं यः परायणम्। पवित्राणां पवित्रं यो मङ्गलानां च मङ्गलम् दैवतं देवतानां च भूतानां यो व्ययः पिता। यतः सर्वाणि भूतानि भवन्त्यादियुगागमे यस्मिंश्च प्रलयं यान्ति पुनरेव युगक्षये। तस्य लोकप्रधानस्य जगन्नाथस्य भूपते विष्णोर्नाम सहस्रं मे शृणु पापभयापहम्। यानि नामानि गौणानि विख्यातानि महात्मनः ऋषिभिः परिगीतानि तानि वक्ष्यामि भूतये ऋषिर्नाम्नाम् सहस्रस्य वेदव्यासो महामुनिः छन्दोनुष्टुप् तथा देवो भगवान् देवकीसुतः अमृतांशूद्भवो बीजम् शक्तिर्देवकीनन्दनः त्रिसामा हृदयम् तस्य शान्त्यर्थे विनियुज्यते विष्णुम् जिष्णुम् महाविष्णुम् प्रभविष्णुम् महेश्वरम् अनेकरूपदैत्यान्तम् नमामि पुरुषोत्तमम् अस्य श्रीविष्णोर्दिव्यसहस्रनामस्तोत्रमहामन्त्रस्य श्रीवेदव्यासो भगवान् ऋषिः अनुष्टुप् छन्दः श्रीमहाविष्णुः परमात्मा श्रीमन्नारायणो देवता अमृतांशोद्भवो भानुरिति बीजम् देवकीनन्दनः स्रष्टेति शक्तिः उद्भवः क्षोभणो देव इति परमो मन्त्रः शङ्खभृन्नन्दकी चक्रीति शार्ङ्गधन्वा गदाधरक्षोभ्य इति नेत्रम् त्रिसामा सामगः सामेति कवचम् आनन्दम् परब्रह्मेति योनिः.
Hello, this is Praktiksha.
Yes.
And Praktiksha is a Vedic astrologer and a healer and a little bit psychic, because yesterday you told me some things about me that there was no way you would have known,
Yeah.
but you knew. And we had a little talk about the flat earth and the ball earth yesterday,
Yes.
and today we're going to film a little bit of us talking.
So Earth is ball because Vedic astrologer said about Earth. It is ball before 10,000 years.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But in the Sri Ram Bhagavatam it talks about Burloka
Yeah.
being the big flat plain, and the Jambudvipa or Jambudvipa, where we live, is one small area in the big flat Burloka
Yeah.
plain. So some Vedic astrologers have somewhere changed into the ball earth model.
Yeah. No. Earth is a ball.
No?
Yeah. Because I want to say you.
Yeah.
I want to say you about Earth. Earth. Why the Earth ball? I want to discuss about it.
Yeah.
This is ball because I told yesterday to you,
Yeah.
moon. When moon and Earth and Saturn, Sun, they come in on the
Aligned.
way, then the looks.
The moon
on-
have a shadow.
Yeah, shadow is ball.
Well,
First
yeah.
step this. Second step, moon. Always moon give us light.
Yeah, at night.
15 days, small.
Yeah.
Then some more, and then after 15 days is full ball.
That's right.
And then moon cut. After 15
Yeah,
days, some
smaller again.
cut, and smaller, and then finish.
Yeah.
So it's proof.
We believe that the moon is to do with electromagnetics, and the moon lights itself,
Yeah.
and it's not sun
Moon around
reflection.
the Earth. Moon around the Earth, because Earth is ball, so it's possible to around. If flat, not around. Flat, this
But if it
go
was
here
flat,
and here.
no, because if it's flat and circular, the moon could go in a circle above.
And I want to prove second to you
Yeah.
about the Earth ball.
Here is a flat Earth model with the sun and the moon going round.
No, like this.
So you think the moon is getting its light from the sun?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, yesterday morning, with the sunrise, I could see the sun and the moon in the sky at the same time for like 2 hours,
Yeah.
and the moon was not full. So why is the moon not full if I can see the sun and the moon in the sky and nothing between them?
In evening?
In the evening before the full moon,
Yeah.
and in the morning just after the full moon.
Yeah.
You think the sun is a lot bigger than the moon?
Yeah. Sun is very
Further.
far. But
Yeah.
when we look, the sun and moon, they are
The same size.
same size because it's very far. Oh, phone नहीं हो लो. हाँ, वो video चालू है.
Okay, then with the solar eclipse, you know, when
Yeah.
the moon's in front of the sun,
Yeah.
so you think when this happens, it's a coincidence
Yeah.
that they look the same size.
Yeah.
But one is 400 times further and 400 times bigger.
Yeah.
This is kind of a big coincidence, no?
Sometime when moon and sun come to near to Earth, then they look bigger, and after then they go
A bit
far,
further.
then they look smaller.
So with the ball Earth, how come people have been looking? They cannot see the curvature. Like people have gone high up, and everything looks very flat.
Yeah, it looks very flat because this is very big round.
Yes.
You know, big round. So
You're saying it's too big to see.
yeah. So I think I want to say you, I have no ball.
We've done some mathematics, and we think in 10 miles, like 15 kilometers, there should be like 60 feet of drop.
Yeah.
And you should see this with the eye. Like in Chicago, in America, someone could see the city from 60 miles away, like 85 kilometers away. And it should be, if it's a ball, it should be below the curve. You know?
No, it's a very big place. So in the world, on the earth, 75% water
Yeah.
and 25% land. So we can't see all of
The curvature.
coverage area.
But it is from the, okay, so this is the ball.
But
One
sometimes,
quarter is 3,000 kilometers drop.
yeah.
This is a lot of curvature.
But sometimes you feel that when we see very far, then we see earth and sky is
They meet.
they meet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's say about it. Earth, yeah.
Because for us, this is the vanishing point of the eye. Because the horizon's always at eye level. Like if you're on an aeroplane, the horizon's at eye level. And if it was a ball, it should be a little bit down.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, when if we see very far, then we feel that they are both
They meet.
sky and yeah.
But where they meet is
Sky
at
and
eye
earth.
level. Even if I go very high up in a balloon, the land. And
Yeah,
the,
because
they
this
meet
land
at eye
is
level.
very big. This land is very big.
Sure.
We can see it.
You should be able to see it.
Yeah.
Because in 50 miles or even 10 miles, you should see a little bit of curvature.
Yeah. Railway.
Yeah. And it go like this.
Yeah. And we see very far. Then we
It's
feel that they are.
Converging.
Yeah. So this is the nature. This is nature.
This is the reality. Yeah.
Reality. Yeah. This is earth, and after then, beside, it's, behind the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Sriram Bhagavatam says.
Yeah.
So you think there's other earths,
Yeah.
other round earths,
Yeah.
and there's
Water.
water between them.
Yeah.
This is a bit more like the Sriram Bhagavatam 5th cantos.
Yeah. So this we look only the land earth. We not
So
able to look
further.
far. Yeah.
So in your model, we are a ball, but there are many other balls,
Yeah.
but we're supposed to be spinning around the sun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And over here, there's another sun and another earth.
Yeah.
You think like this.
No, all planet they spinning on the sun. Is Mars is not. I think there is not humidity and not any animals.
I don't think anyone can go to Mars. I think it's just a light of energy.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone can.
No, now
I don't
not
think it's
approved it,
physical.
not proved it on Mars. But I think on Jupiter there is some population.
Yeah?
Yeah, on Jupiter because Jupiter that is Jupiter have also very much gravity and on certain only one that planet they that have much iron on
Okay.
the Saturn.
Do you believe there's metal
Yeah.
in the planet? Why do you believe that?
Yeah, I believe it and scientists proved it.
Because no one's proved to me that there's curvature. All the photos don't look real, and no one's proved to me they've been to space. So
Yeah.
I don't believe in space. I just believe lights in the sky.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting to meet people who understand the Vedic system and Vedic astrology, and to hear different people's ideas.
Jai Siya Ram, Jai Jai Hanuman. Jai Siya Ram, Jai Jai Hanuman. Jai Siya Ram, Jai Jai Hanuman. Jai Siya Ram, Jai Jai. Jai Siya Ram, Jai Jai Hanuman. 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 Jai Siya Ram, Jai 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 Bajranga Bali, Baba Hanuman. Jai Bajranga Bali, Jai Hanuman. Sankatam Mochan, Kripanidhan. Sankatam Mochan, Kripanidhan. Jai Siya Ram, Jai Jai Hanuman.
So I was on the beaches ago, a few days ago. Some beautiful people, music, fun. Now I'm in the snow. What's that about? Hanuman, god of discernment and intelligence. What are we going to do with all this globalism on Earth here at the moment?
Hello, Wakey Wakey. Those demons are running amok at present in Bharata Varsha. The spreading of awareness and living authentically will help.
But Hanuman, it's really difficult down here on Earth. There's so much archonic attack and demons. Can you not come back and help us like you did once before with Rama?
I am busy at the moment in another part of Jambuvipa. I cannot come to your Bharata Varsha abode for at least another 200 or 300 years, maybe longer.
Another 250 odd years, that's another 4 or so carnations, Hanuman. I don't think I can handle it. Careful, monkeys. A bit aggressive.
You are in Bharata Varsha, Wakey Wakey, due to your dirty karma. But in this Varsha, you can find liberation.
Okay, Hanuman. We'll try and do that. It's a bit cold up here, Hanuman, isn't it? Maybe if you decide to go to Goa, somewhere a bit warmer.
Goa these days is full of Indian tourists taking selfies and London hipster extroverts trying to be cool. The energy has near all but gone.
How did you get your boon, Hanuman?
I received many boons from Shiva, Indra and Brahma. Your favourite might be the boon of scriptural wisdom. But don't worry yourself with such things. Boons are not to be strived for. Be content and at peace.
So, Hanuman, what about NASA? What are we going to do?
NASA are demons manifest. Their game is up. It's too fake and obvious now. Soon it will only be the vaccinated zombie automatons who drink pints of fluoridated water that believe NASA. Even their gold foil can't save them now. Wakey wakey, you must go further into the Himalaya. There you will meet with some monks who will talk with you about Bhumandala and Jambuvipa. Stop eating nice curries, smoking biddies, and drinking chai.
Okay, Hanuman. Thanks, Hanuman. See you around.
Om Klim Kalakaye Namaha. Om Klim Kalakaye Namaha. Om Klim Kalakaye Namaha. Om Klim Kalakaye Namaha.
Many don't know, but it's the goddess Kali who rules over our current age, the Kali Yuga, the material age. As you can see, this is all very similar to the Jain time cycle from earlier. The Vedas contain much info on the Yugas, which are Vedic time cycles experienced in Bharata Varsha. There is not much difference in the Vedic various texts that talk about the Yugas, but many books and websites and Slack researchers have distorted this information, especially the 2012 and New Age gangs. Here is the truth from the Vedic scriptures. The Mahabharata, Shantiparva 231.12-20, explains in detail that 1 year of the demigods is equal to 360 years of human beings. So here are the divine years and the human years shown here. And we are in the beginning of the Kali Yuga, just 5,000 years in. It started when Krishna is said to have departed. With Kali presiding over this age, it could be interpreted as meaning the death of the system, the death of all the hoaxes and lies from a long-term grouping of elite controllers. This crumbling and decay would actually be positive, like an ocean wave retreating, ready for a new wave of integral awakened souls. I want to quote from the Sriram Bhagavatam about the Kali Yuga. 12.2.1 Religion, truthfulness, cleanliness, tolerance, mercy, duration of human life, physical strength and memory will all diminish substantially because of the powerful influences of the age of Kali. 12.2.2 In Kali Yuga, wealth alone will be considered the sign of a man's good birth, proper behaviour and fine qualities, and law and justice will be applied only on the basis of one's power. 12.2.6 A holy place will be viewed to consist of no more than a reservoir of water located at a far-off place, and beauty will be determined based on one's hairstyle. Filling the belly will become the primary goal of life, and one who is audacious and rebellious will be accepted as truthful. He who can maintain a family will be regarded as an expert man, and the principles of religion will be observed only for the sake of reputation. 12.2.7 The earth will become crowded with a corrupt population, and among their social classes, he who is considered to be the strongest will gain political power. 12.2.5 A person is considered unsuccessful and unholy if he does not have money, and the society will accept hypocrisy as a virtue. Marriage will be arranged simply by a verbal contract, and a person will think he is fit to appear in public if he merely takes a bath. 12.3.42 Men will stop taking care of their elderly parents. 12.2.3 Men and women will live together merely because of superficial attraction, and success in business will depend upon deceit. Womanliness and manliness will be judged according to one's expertise in sex. 12.2.4 A person's spiritual position will be ascertained merely according to external symbols, and on that same basis people will change from one spiritual order to the next. A person's propriety will be seriously questioned if he does not earn a good living, and one who is very clever at juggling words will be considered a learned scholar. 12.2.7 As the earth thus becomes crowded with a corrupt population, whoever among any of their social classes shows himself to be the strongest will gain political power. 12.2.9 Harassed by famine and excessive taxes, people resort to eating leaves, roots, flesh, fruits, flowers and seeds. Struck by drought, they will become completely ruined. 12.3.41 Side note, I actually know two humans who fit this one very nicely. In Kali Yuga, men will develop hatred for each other, even over a few coins, giving up all friendly relations. They'll be ready to lose their own lives and kill even their own relatives. 12.3.32 Cities will be dominated by thieves. The Vedas will be contaminated by speculative interpretations of atheists. Political leaders will virtually consume the citizens, and the so-called priests and intellectuals will be devotees of their beliefs and genitals. 12.3.51 Although Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting the names of Krishna, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. In the Vishnu Purana 6.2.17 and also in the Padma and other Puranas, it states, whatever is achieved by meditation in the Satya Yuga, by the performance of sacrifice in the Treta Yuga, and by the worship of Lord Krishna's lotus feet in the Dvapara Yuga, is obtained in the age of Kali simply by glorifying the name of Lord Kesava. Note, Kesava is another name for Krishna. The Bhagavad Gita gives many other reasons for chanting, just a few. Bhagavad Gita 7.16 O best among the Bharatas, 4 kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. 7.17 Of these, the one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best, for I am dear to him, and he is dear to me. Bhagavad Gita 5.18 The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahman, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater. There are Vedic roots to the Tibetan Buddhist deity Avalokiteshvara. In the 2nd century AD, in the 24th chapter of the Siddharma Pundarika, a hymn expands the appearance of Avalokiteshvara in a similar way to the Vedic Purusha. The Purusha Sukta in Rig Veda explains the primordial Purusha as having 1,000 heads, 1,000 eyes and 1,000 feet. It is also to be noted that, in the Karanda Vyuha Sutra, Avalokiteshvara takes the role of the Vedic Purusha. When Buddhism was new, it didn't have many deities to deal with. The predominant deities of those times were Indra and Brahma. In the Tripitaka, all these deities are shown completely subversient to the Buddha. Shiva is also within Buddhism. In the Lotus Sutra, 24th chapter, the chapter of the Universal Door, it speaks of Shiva as an emanation of Avalokiteshvara. Why am I saying all this? I want people to know, and some may not be happy with it, but it's the truth. The Vedic theology and theosophy is the parent of Hinduism, then Jainism, and then Buddhism. Avalokiteshvara is a Sanskrit word. Avalokita means viewed or observed, and Shvara is an ancient Vedic concept meaning Lord or Master, Soul or Brahma, so the whole word means the Lord who looks in every direction. So I started milling about town and asking questions, and I soon realised my best bet was the Tibetan library. I spoke to the library director's secretary at length, and eventually she set me up a filmed interview with the director regarding Jambu Vipa, Mount Meru, and the Flat Earth Awakening in the West. The director of the library is the well-known Master Geshe, Geshe Lakdor, long-time friend of the Dalai Lama. He was there when I arrived for my appointment, and we went into his office, but he then strangely refused to be filmed or recorded, and looked agitated with me. I secretly started recording the audio on my phone, and will take the karma hit for the team. This is what is said. This is what is said. Yeah. But there are some people on the internet who have exposed this as being a hoax. Okay, these are official photos from NASA. The size of America's changing.
Well, but what I'm saying is the globe as it is now.
Why?
That has been calculated
but
and photographed by the mainstream scientific community.
The only people who've taken these photos are NASA from space, and I've done 2 years research into this. I could prove to you if you had 1 hour.
But in this case,
I could prove to you this is fake.
In this case, I'm a layman. I don't know much.
Okay.
But to be honest, like even if you go to ancient sources, you may not find much. I mean, of course, there will be a lot of explanations, but as far as the scientific findings are concerned, not with everything, but with the two physical realities. They use this huge telescope,
This telescope called Hubble. You talking about this
Hubble,
one?
Hubble, and then later on many.
This doesn't exist. This is fake. Hubble does not exist.
But it is taught in every class,
I know.
Every university, every school. So how can you say it is?
Right. It's a long story, and I know this sounds really crazy. Because 2 years ago, when I heard about this, I thought this was crazy, and I was laughing. NASA was originated by Nazis after the Second World War.
Of course, it's very good to sustain your interest and explore. I mean, it's always a good thing to.
But Tibetan Buddhism,
perspective.
Buddhism did believe it was flat, and now they believe mainstream science.
No.
This is
no. It's not mixing like that. if you ask me how it is explained in Tibetan Buddhist, and then we will say whatever it is explained, we will not follow the scientific view.
This is what I'm interested in, the Tibetan Buddhist philosophy.
There's one thing.
Yeah, this is like personal opinion and the scripture.
There's one thing. But the interesting thing here is with regard to the material physical things, excepting maybe very few, practitioners who may have extrasensory perception, things like that. But original explanation, common explanation, what they've explained is in accordance with what their senses can see, you see.
The senses tell us it's flat.
That's true. Now listen.
Yeah.
But the capacity of the senses to see things is very limited. The capacity of the senses to see things, to hear, is like, 1,000 times like...
They have used imagery to trick people. So if you look at these images of Antarctica, these are not real.
I do not believe.
Sure, and you shouldn't. In 10 minutes, you should not.
I do not believe that there's a mainstream scientific community who is trying to cheat the rest.
It's a pyramid system. There are very few people at the top.
I don't believe this. If you say this is a mistake, maybe possible, yeah? Because the scientists themselves, they never say what they've said is the final truth. They never say
For sure.
That's good.
But a lot of
At the same time, they never said this is the final. Everything is possible. Everything is a hypothesis.
Everything's a theory.
Based on what is found right now.
No, this isn't true.
No. What I'm saying, my understanding.
Yeah, okay.
Based on the mainstream community, which we read, which we teach, is that
it's round.
It's round.
Yes.
Okay? It's not just one class or two classes, but universities.
Sure.
It's a mainstream subject.
But to become an astrophysicist...
I'm hearing this only from you.
Sure. And you are correct to think I'm crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying crazy.
Sure, but
what I'm saying is...
Minority. Sure.
Exactly. And they're not necessarily saying bad or good or correct.
Sure. But what has happened the past 2 years...
What I'm really saying is that whoever has the main reason, you see, the facts and figures, whatever, to prove, because anything that has a more valid point has to be proved.
No, because they're just using images and they're saying it's round.
Whether you are saying or the scientists.
I can prove to you it's flat. I could prove to you it's flat in about 3 hours.
No, I have no problem whether the earth is round or flat.
Sure, I know you don't.
I'm not so interested in it.
But what's happening in the West is many people are erasing divinity, erasing spirit, because they believe science is God. So children in schools in England, America and Europe...
No, that's wrong.
This is wrong.
This is wrong. This I believe.
This is, for me, why they are doing the ball.
This is what I'm saying. To believe science is like God. This is wrong. This is wrong. This of course is wrong.
But of course, you and I could talk about...
Science. Some people think science is almost another kind of faith or religion. That is wrong.
Yeah.
That is wrong.
This is
but what I'm saying is, from whatever field it is coming, whatever source of knowledge.
Sure.
We need to see whether this is right or wrong through one's own judgment and experiment.
And discernment. What I've been looking at is the Vedic document, the Srimad Bhagavatam, a Purana. This has a big explanation of flat earth and in Jainism. And what I found in Buddhist theory is these images. Why would all these people around the world all say the same thing? That it's flat?
Because, when we study science, there's an explanation that the earth is round, but still we think it's flat. Why?
Because we see it as flat.
Exactly.
But with the round model, let me just explain this. Okay.
They proved, like for example, if a boat sails from here, you see?
I can prove to you. I could talk.
I've read all those things.
Right. They say it's round, so they have this measurement.
Exactly.
Every 10 miles, there's a drop.
Yeah.
This doesn't exist. From Spain, I can see...
I don't know.
There should be 8 inches in 1 mile.
But at least, one thing interesting is, we see moon round from Earth.
We see it as a circle.
Yeah, we see circle, yeah.
But we don't necessarily see a sphere.
Exactly. It looks like it's a sphere, but you're right.
We don't know for sure.
Circle.
What
I'm saying is interesting thing, you see.
Yeah.
At least interesting thing. From here we see the sun also like that.
Yes.
Moon also like that.
Yes.
So I believe that those who see from the moon and sun on the earth, they also look like that. And all the 9, 10 planets, they also look like that, you know.
Who's to say planets are something you can land on?
I don't know, but what I'm saying is what we see
Okay.
from here.
What? I know it's a big leap, but this organization called NASA in America,
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
this is a military organization
Yeah.
created by Nazis.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know of a secret mystic society called the Freemasons. NASA, for me, is it's a cult. It's like a dark society.
Yeah, that I know. Yeah.
And from my research, they've never been to space. And for me, this is all fake. So me, and I know tens of thousands of
Then
people.
Another thing, I'm acting as a opponent today, okay?
Sure.
Another thing is NASA came later.
Yes.
The scientists saying that the Earth is round was before NASA.
But the experiments they used were the Cavendish experiment and the pendulum in France. And these are rubbish experiments that don't really improve anything.
Second thing is there is no politicization. I think Russians believe the Earth is round. Americans believe the Earth is round. Chinese believe.
Everyone believes it.
So?
But it doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with these Buddhist images, why do they all show 4 continents around Mount Meru? I believe it's possible there is other land, and that higher evolved souls are living on other land, and lower de-evolved souls are on other land. What would you say to this theory?
If you have any write-up on this, can you just send that to me? Do you have any write-up on what you are saying?
Well, I could show you the Sri Ram Bhagavatam.
Right now I have a meeting.
Okay, I could show you a video.
Students are waiting for me.
We could make another appointment.
How long you are here?
Another week.
Another week may be very difficult. I have so many other meetings.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time. So some of these could be maps, couldn't they, little man? This one I think is a map for the chakra. And you painted this? How long did this take you? A month. And you painted this one down here? Wow. How long did this take? Yeah. This could be a map. So as you can see, I'm starting to see Vedic cosmology everywhere, even on the back of my eyelids. I wanted to interview someone else. A young Tibetan lad who walked over the Himalayas to escape Chinese genocide said I should go to Metsi Khan, as there is a master of Tibetan cosmology there. Metsi Khan is a Tibetan medicine and astrology institute and college, because Tibetan medicine works closely with astrology and herbs, unlike Western medicine. I spoke to the head of the astrology department and we arranged an interview where I could film. Now again, when I arrived for the appointment, I was told no filming was allowed. Again, I started to secret squirrel record the audio on my phone, because people have a right to know what is going on with these ancient wisdoms, ancient scriptures, and ancient myths.
Island sea, island sea.
Island sea and mountain. Island
Yes,
sea and
yeah,
mountain.
mountain.
Island sea and mountain. And the seventh one. Seven island. Where there's 12 islands. The southern part of the island is a planet Earth. Or this kind of, at that time,
there's like 4 continents.
Four continents, 12.
Yes.
It becomes 4, 8, 12, 16.
Yes.
So here,
and we're in the south one. Earth is in the south.
No, it's like 12. 3, 3, 3, 3.
Yes, yeah.
3, 3, 3, 12. So in the south one we have this.
Yes.
But doesn't mean it's like whole Earth. Maybe at that time it talks about the Shambhala. There's around 6 places, 7 or 6 places. Tibet, Nepal, India, talks about that.
Some texts say these are different continents of our Earth, and some say one of these is our Earth. There's some debates going on.
So that's why I'm saying at that time.
This is very close to the Vedic.
Very close.
If the Tibetans, these Tibetan masters and lamas were meditating and they were enlightened, and they could see it was a ball, and they could see these planets that NASA say they can see, surely these lamas meditating would say this is all rubbish. But no lama has ever said that.
And then this is what I'm saying. Dalai Lama said.
Dalai Lama said it was rubbish.
It's kind of the concept of this Mount Meru is rubbish.
That's what he
Dalai
said.
Lama said.
I find it's quite strange that there are a bunch of people in the West who make YouTube videos and they sit in their bedrooms who hold on to this wisdom or this mythology or philosophy more closely than the Dalai Lama now.
No, the thing is, as I said before, when Dalai Lama said that, now we have to remember what is Buddhism. What is the reason of Buddhism? What is the main goal of Buddhism?
Get rid of suffering.
Get rid of suffering, nothing else. So,
but with the current mainstream model, this is creating unhappiness. Because people are paying tax, $8 billion a year, and they're seeing fake images for their $8 billion tax.
What images?
From NASA. There are a lot of fake images. I could spend hours showing you many fake images.
So therefore, what the Buddha is teaching, main teaching, as I said before,
is don't be attached to the tax.
Don't be attached.
But if people are working, I understand, don't be attached. But if people are working many hours in a factory, and they have to by law pay tax, 20, 30%, 40%, and this tax is going towards lies and deception, it's hard not to be attached because these people have children.
Another thing is,
these people have children that they
have
to spend money on.
You have your point, but this point, the kind of perception you have, kind of these kind of these are lies or that's separate. Buddha taught this or not? I said taught, but he was the first one who taught this or not? I said may not be, because you have found so many texts, so many pictures of Jabdeva before Buddha. Now the thing is whether Buddha actually believe in this text or not, this picture or not.
And this is hard to know.
I doubt.
But you don't know.
I doubt.
But you don't know.
I don't know. Because I don't know, and I also doubt. Because why I am saying this? Because of 2 reasons. One is that Buddha's main intention was to teach the inner one, which is the bodily energy, these things. He said, maybe that's because of that, Buddha might have used. Second reason I'm saying this, because His Holiness Dalai Lama also, nowadays, he says, this, the Jambudeva concept,
He said it's rubbish.
Looks like rubbish. This is what he said, not what I'm saying. And he is supposed to be the highest Lama.
But I think you and I both know there are some other lamas up in caves places who can see more.
I mean,
because Dalai Lama's in the physical world a lot. He's in cars, he's in
but
hotels.
he still says, this is important because of certain reasons.
Because of internal esoteric reasons.
Esoteric teachings, and then also when we make offerings to the lamas, we visualize the Mount Meru, and then we offer everything to the lama, so that the blessings will be more effective. So these are the
So he's saying it's a meditative mandala.
And nothing more.
Nothing. Yeah, sure.
Surely with this model, some great enlightened beings from Jainism, the Vedic traditions, and Tibetan Buddhism, surely in the last 3,000 years, 2,000, 6,000 years, depending on what stream, some enlightened being or realized being would have said, this is all rubbish. And no one's ever done that until the Dalai Lama.
Another thing is, in Abhidharma, it says like world is flat. Abhidharma is in 7th century Buddhist teachings, the text, Abhidharma text. Abhidharma text, you see, a lot of in text mostly have a reasoning about things. Like
it's a very rational text.
Very, very rational text, mostly, but in the case of this universe of the it says it's a flat. And then mostly in Gala Chakra, it never talks about a flat. In the Gala Chakra text, you see, mostly it never talks about flat, it talks about the round. Dalai Lama says, although Abhidharma, I get a lot of information, very rational, very, very nice. But when it comes to world, universe, it makes me, shy. Abhidharma. Because it talks about world is flat.
Yes.
That makes me, shame. It puts me shame. There are some cases like you, from that side to this side.
Yes.
There may be another people, so many people, who are going from this side to that side also.
But I'm pretty sure there are more people going this side.
No.
No.
The reason is that, very many Tibetans, these lamas, these monks, they are very much brought up into this kind of theories, this kind of stories.
Sure.
But now they're going to other
They're going the other side. They believe that Western science and Western NASA, these people are people of good integrity.
No. They don't see whether they don't see the person. They see the works.
They see the books and the
not books. They see the work. They are rational. They see the rational.
The ball Earth model works in a book and on paper. It doesn't work in the real world.
That's a real world. They say, I feel like the round things works.
Sure, I completely know you do. People in the East who've lived in these poor villages, they live very basic life. They get these televisions and they very easily believe what they see.
We know. On that landmass, on the center, with the 16,000 yojana, on the base 16,000 yojana comes up the mandala, the Mount which has like around 200,000 yojana in land.
Yeah, it's very high.
With five layers. On the top of 3 layers, we have this 33 godly spirit, which is supposed to be, God. Within God, there are so many,
different layers,
different layers, and different kind of, universe,
different vibration,
different their own universe. Based on that universe, they have their own kind of power, wealth, and everything.
Their own reality, their own physics.
Their own physics, Okay, so therefore, I said that below this, beneath the, Earth mass is the
underworld.
Underworld is the nagas, the
elementals,
hells, and these stuffs. Okay, so around the the base of the Mount Meru, there are 7 ocean.
That's right.
Island mountain sea, and the 7 part, the island. We have this so-called the Earth, which is in the southern part.
Yes.
At that time, what happens is the America doesn't exist. So does the Australia. It mostly talks about the Asian part.
Yes, the Himalaya, North India.
It also talks about the Shambhala also.
The mythical
Shambhala.
Golden Age. Utopia.
Okay. So therefore, the Shambhala is nothing but if you practice Karachakra Tantra, you can be born in Shambhala.
It's like a mythic. It's like a celestial.
It's a mythical, mostly mythical. You cannot locate Shambhala.
But maybe it was a place many years ago.
No.
Because there is some that believe, and I'm just asking the question, that when you get north of this Earth within this map, you get closer to Mount Meru, and this is where Shambhala is, more evolved human souls.
So there's a lot of different versions.
Yes.
Somebody said I went to this direction and then I saw Shambhala. There are some places where they call, in Tibet, some places they call this is a gateway to Shambhala. There are some places, So, but if you go there, you won't find.
Yes.
But it's all mythical thing.
And in myths, always is some truth.
And once, the Shambhala, this Panchen Lama, you heard of Panchen Lama, the second highest.
Okay.
Next to Dalai Lama, he's in Tibet now. He was, kidnapped by Chinese at the age of 2, 3, 4. So before his previous kind of incarnations, Dalai Lama was 14th. He's like maybe 12, 13th. Before he was very famous for the Shambhala.
He was writing about Shambhala and talking about it.
Things,
What did he say about Shambhala?
He said Shambhala, he said he found kind of some Shambhala and some kind of things,
In his inner world meditation journeys?
Meditation, some kind of, he said something about, he wrote something, so much things about Shambhala. So, but it's a little bit mystical, but Kala Chakras and the Shambhala are kind of intertwined. If you practice Kala Chakra Tantra, you can be born in Shambhala. The Shambhala says that after 400 years from now, there will be a big war
on this reality?
On this planet.
Wow.
400 years from now.
Yes.
Between the evil forces and the king of Shambhala.
Yeah.
So 400 years from this is his kind of predictions, forecasting. This Kala Chakra Tantra taught by Buddha 981 BC. 981 BC. To whom? First Shambhala king. So Suchandra, his name was Suchandra, he taught. From then onwards, this Kala Chakra Tantra came, and that Kala Chakra Tantra mentioned that from now, forecast so many things. And he said, and then the text also says that now from this 2016, after maybe 400 years.
And then there's a war between the dark spirit and the good spirit.
Like dark evil forces.
Yes.
And it little bit mentioned about kind of Muslim.
Yeah.
And then the king of Shambhala.
The king of Shambhala comes
to rescue.
Defeats.
Come to rescue. Yeah. Buddha really meant by this kind of teaching. He never taught the external only. He taught external, internal, alternative.
And when you say alternative, you mean spirit?
Alternative means meditation.
Okay, yeah.
Enlightenment.
Higher worlds.
Higher world, enlightenment.
So outer world, inner world, higher world.
Higher world.
We could say.
So therefore, now he said, as above, so is inside.
So
as outside, so is inside. So he had to, make comparison or make correlationship so that people know inside better.
But what's happening in the West? This is a very good point I'd like to speak on, because in the West, people think, okay, the outside, I'm a random planet, and I'm just floating through space like billions of other planets, billions of other galaxies. This sort of chaos and insignificance goes inside.
So therefore,
but this model creates more beauty inside.
So therefore, since his main goal is to liberate people, give some happiness to people, he might have used the other way, the external to prove point in the inner things.
But this would have been lying, wouldn't it?
Lying means how say he had lied. For example, if I want to teach something, and if you use something,
you can use a metaphor,
some kind of examples. Yeah. How can you say I'm lying?
But Buddha didn't say.
The point is this.
Buddha didn't say this is an example. He said he was like, this is the cosmology.
He said about that, but is there any text which he says this is exactly? Dalai Lama is also saying that this.
It's just a meditation mandala.
Meditational thing, maybe, or maybe and then he said, this mandala, this kind of meditative stuff, is making me shy. In the Buddhist concept, the Buddha is supposed to be, all-knowing.
Yes.
Yeah, he knows everything. That's what we believe.
Mm.
And but the culture that the Jambudeva map was already taught before Buddha.
It was taught before Buddha.
And who knows that person is an all-knowing person or enlightened one? Who knows?
It does
may not be
seem
enlightened. Who knows?
if you look at the Sri Rambagavatam, this is where I can pick up Jambudvipa and Mount Meru. These are written by rishis. They say carnations of Vishnu, avatars of Vishnu.
Another thing is there's a very very important thing is what you know is that people say like rishis rishis they claim that they are something
Enlightened.
People like Hitler also maybe at one time he says maybe he's something
He was interested in Tibetan magic.
Yeah, he was interested in especially the swastika.
Yes.
Swastika.
He reversed it.
He reversed it, but it's a
healing symbol, really.
Healing symbol, kind of.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is now the structure.
There's another story of Hitler where he was interested in Tibetan scripture, and then he got very interested in Antarctica. So some people say, I'm not sure, that he found something in a Tibetan scripture about the cosmology, and he went to Antarctica to try and find out the truth.
No, he also, I think, I heard that he also took interested in Shambhala.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. Everyone sees something different, yes, but there are objective truths, like if there's no curvature, if people are doing measurements over 100 kilometers and there's not 1 centimeter of curvature, different people can't see that differently because it's measurable.
And as far as this land.
The land, yeah. So then with that, people can prove that the Earth cannot be a ball because there's no curvature. If there's no curvature, it can't be a ball, and people can't see that differently because that's an objective truth. Do you see what I mean? Because we can all see things differently, but some things, like, we can all agree that this book has words in it. We may interpret the words differently, but we can all see that this is a book here with pages and words. I've had a lot of people say to me, this flat earth, ball earth, it depends how people see things. But there are objective truths. Like no one has ever been to space and seen, you've never been to space and seen the earth, and I've never been to space and seen the earth. So we're relying on images from a military organization.
Military and stuff like that, but we can know a little bit here and there because, like, through these kind of, images, satellites, we can watch television.
I don't believe satellites exist.
I believe, 100% believe.
If you go to Google Images and type in satellites from space,
so
you're just going to see cartoons.
There's not a satellite. Yes. How can I, locate my location?
Sure. GPS is a military system and it uses triangulation. So you'll be here, and it will bounce off the 3 nearest masts, and these masts that echo time back will give you your location. So every skyscraper, the big buildings in Dubai and New York and all around the world, these all have masts on the roof. So it's highly possible that these skyscrapers were built for masts.
A lot of governments, like Indian governments and so many countries,
I'm aware of this.
Launching satellites. I have seen this kind of.
You haven't seen the satellite go into space.
Going to space, they go like this, kind of. And then we also see, and then during night time,
At night time, these things we see, your eye and my eye is not good enough to see something the size of a car 300 miles away.
What is this?
These are high altitude drones.
What is that object?
These are high altitude.
Round.
Did you see at night the white light moving? Yeah. This is a high altitude craft.
So now we are assuming, all are assumptions.
Not everything.
Assumptions.
Not everything is assumptions.
Assumptions. Now, what I'm saying, assumptions means you have few people. You have some people talking. Some people have some description. Others have another descriptions.
But you can use rationale. You can say if there's no curvature in 100 kilometers, and you can prove this, this is a problem.
This so-called this Jambudeva, so-called this is just a part of the Kalachakra Tantra.
Yeah.
You have to remember, if you want to study all this, study about the Jambudeva and these things, first very important is to learn culture of Tantra.
Yes.
Without culture of Tantra, you cannot go into this.
You cannot understand the
You
cosmology
cannot understand the
without
concept,
the Kala Chakra.
the real concept of the Jagudeva. Because physical thing, just looking at the physical thing, you cannot understand the reality.
Yeah.
Physical can be physical, just inside something else maybe.
The Kala Chakra brings in the celestial worlds, the spirit worlds.
So therefore, the Kala Chakra Tantra, in the Kala Chakra Tantra,
yeah,
we said it's taught by Buddha himself. Because in Buddhist teachings, all the teachings are either Tantra or Sutra.
Yeah.
Concluded into two, either Tantra or Sutra. So the Sutra, mostly taught by Buddha himself.
Yeah, sure.
With his original body. With his original body, Buddha taught.
Talking with people around.
Talking people around, and with his original body. But in Tantra, Buddha never taught Tantra in his original body.
It's from the spirit world.
Not just spirit world. He just taught the Tantra by manifesting some deity.
Yeah.
Not in the original form, but manifesting as a deity.
And the knowledge is within the deity.
Deity is a deity. Is a Buddha himself is a deity.
Sure.
But all the Tantric teachings, if you try to find the Tantric teachings, who taught the Tantric teachings, you will find that Buddha taught. Actually, Buddha taught, but not in the real physical, Buddha's physical.
Within deity archetypes.
Within that deity, he took a manifestation of deity and then he taught. Kala Chakra Tantra, he taught in Kala Chakra deity. You haven't seen the Kala Chakra deity?
I know the images of the Kala
Image
Chakra.
of the Kala Chakra deity.
Which look like a map to me. They look like a map of
maybe map.
Jambudvipa and Mount Meru in the middle.
Yeah, the Kala Chakra deity is many arms.
Yeah.
With two, the Vishwamata. So the Kala Chakra father and mother is, like conjoined. So it symbolizes the wisdom and the knowledge.
Yeah.
Wisdom and the skill, So this is, so therefore in Kala Chakra Tantra there's 3 chapters. External, internal, and alternative.
Yeah.
So therefore, as this Greek system and ancient systems, ancient Greek philosophy, and in Indian philosophy, we say that just as above, so is below.
Yeah, sure. In Hermetic as well. Kabbalah, they say this.
Yeah. So therefore, everything is correlated. That's why Kala Chakra Tantra, it has 3 chapters: external, internal, and the alternative. So another one curious thing about Kala Chakra Tantra, doesn't talk about world is flat.
And you believe it talks about the world being a ball? I don't think it does have any clear statement anywhere.
Yes, but Kala Chakra normally talks about, it neither talks about a flight also. It mostly talks about, if you look at Kala Chakra text, it seems like it's like a ball.
But with the Kala Chakra maps and the sand, the ritual with the sand?
Yeah.
This looks like
this is one-dimensional, 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional. If you look at the Kala Chakra Tantra's mandala, it's like, if you see the kind of, the palace,
this
it
is
also looks like flat.
It looks like flat, and it looks like possibly a representation of Mount Meru.
Yeah. But another thing is, as far as the structure is concerned, as I said before, it's like a round. Now that in the ancient system is called the measurement. They don't have kilometers.
They have in the Vedas, yoginis or something.
Yojina.
Yojina, that's it.
Yojina,
and they say 8 miles for 1 yojina, but there are many arguments about the.
So that's another the structure. As far as structure is concerned, the universe at that time, the supposed to be the universe is the diameter is like 100,000 yojanas.
Some texts now say 4 billion miles. Not for our Earth, not for this reality, but the whole Bhumandala. A Jambudvipa is in the middle.
There's no term called billion at that time. What term they used? How much yojana?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
But in our text, it says like 400,000.
400,000 yojana.
Which is very small actually.
Yeah.
Diameter of this universe is a 400,000 yojana.
Many scholars, especially Vedic, are saying there are 8 miles to each yojana, which is like 10-13 kilometers for 1 yojana.
Yeah. Some says like 4 or 5 miles.
Which makes it
like
very big.
8-9 miles. Different,
Which makes it very big.
very big, but not like as compared to 1 light year. It's very small.
I have a problem with the concept of light years. This is another conversation.
For example, like the sun ray,
Yes.
sun ray takes like
They say 8 minutes.
not 8 minutes, maybe 2, 3, few seconds to reach here.
I think mainstream science says 8 minutes.
I
could be
don't,
wrong.
I don't think so. It's like
But
around-
I believe
you can Google
that
it.
the sun is a lot closer and a lot smaller than mainstream science.
So
For
that's
many reasons that I believe have been proved. That they say the
who
sun
proved
is
that? Who proved that?
a lot of flat earth researchers. Which sounds crazy.
Outside eclipse happens, which means Earth, Moon, and Sun straight line. Inside, the energies, Moon energy and Sun energy,
Are aligned.
in a unit form, which means Uma energy. So in the past, what happens is many practitioners they deliberately create eclipse. Deliberately create eclipse. This is all actually found in the Vedas.
Like in shamanic terms.
Yeah,
They with their
200, 300 years ago in Tibet also, there are many instances, there's many cases where the lamas deliberately created eclipse.
To match the macrocosm with the microcosm.
Yeah. So deliberately created eclipse. How they created that? By
Doing it
joining
internally.
using internal power. This by this sun-like energy, moon-like energy, wind energy, they just conjoin it, and then because of that power, they could able to make this kind of eclipse. And that is also found in the Mahabharata. Maybe. Mahabharata.
Yeah, I
where
know
Krishna
Yeah.
created this kind of eclipse. Assumptions. Everything assumptions. I think like this. I think that way. I think that some people may think this way. We have so many,
Sure. But
So-
we need to be careful we don't fall into nihilism.
So for
where
that-
we say everything there are no truths and we just fall into this nihilistic care. This is a danger. And I've seen this with a lot of Buddhists. Some Buddhists have fallen into nihilism. Especially some Western Buddhists.
What kind of nihilism?
Nihilism, where
Nothingness.
they just don't believe anything. And they'll question any truth. And they'll just fall into this pit of what I call nihilism.
No. This is one form, So therefore,
but if there's pain in the world, it's good to eradicate it. Like if there's social problems with the Tibetans here and people are helping. Yes? So we're trying to help people. So like in the West, many people from my research are being lied to and having money taken away. So it's good to help that, I believe.
what is? Can you repeat?
Yes, like okay, we can be in this vastness and meditate and just be at peace. But in the world there is deception and a lot of pain. And it's good to help.
That's true. But if you have you seen the picture of our Lokeshwara?
Yes,
You
yeah,
know,
with
the
1,000 arms.
Especially in the Dalai Lama's temple.
Yes, I have seen it. Yeah.
It has 1,000 arms and 1,000 eyes.
Yes.
What's the meaning of that? Eyes is to see. Where's something like you said?
Yes.
There are so many subjects. Buddha wisdom should have this. Eyes, 1,000 eyes. Manifesting.
High awareness.
High awareness. And 1,000 arms manifesting. I need 1,000 arms to do something. Not like a Buddha should be eaten. Like meditation should be eaten. Why meditating?
Right action.
Why meditate? Because if you meditate, you can do more.
Going on to something a little bit different, with Tibetan astrology, which I know you know a lot about, what does the Tibetan scriptures say about the planets? Does it say they are solid? Does it say they are spherical? Or does it just say they are energies?
I think in a Kala Chakra system, and this some kind of what do you call this? Gola. This is Tibetan word, which means this kind of. I can't say this is universe, or I can't say this is old, because this is a different concept.
Yes.
In the past, Gola, which means round. Again, it talks about Gola means round. Gola means round. Gold in Hindi.
But round doesn't mean spherical.
In Hindi, gold means round.
But it does that mean spherical or round?
Round.
Circle.
Circle.
Circle can be disc.
Can be spherical in this case.
Yes.
Before Buddha, there was kind of Jambudeva.
Sure.
So in the Jain, in the Buddha,
and the Vedic,
Buddhist, maybe same area, like around 5,500 BC.
Yeah.
But before that, they said Veda, like 8,000 something
Sure,
like that.
8,000
So
BC.
they have this kind of Jambudeva map.
This cosmology.
Cosmology. Before Buddha when Buddha taught about this culture tantra and Buddha taught about this Jambudeva, there was a map about Jambudeva in Hinduism.
Yeah, like the pictures I showed you the other day.
Sure. So now question is that the Buddhist Jambudeva is pioneered or something started by Buddha? I think no, because it was already there.
It was already there. It was Vedic.
Already there. So why Buddha just took this kind of map? Is that he wanted to teach the inner culture of Tantra. Buddha's main goal is to enlighten people, make people happy. This is the key Buddha's aim, to make people happy. If you not happy, if you have everything but not happy, what's the use of that? That's why I'm saying one should not be too serious about the.
But in the West, there are people unhappy because they are having science as a god, and they're giving a lot of money to companies like NASA, who many people believe are lying. So people are having unhappiness because they know their tax money is going towards what they believe is a lie. So this lie in the West is creating some unhappiness.
Happiness is if you have three things. The three negative emotions: anger, attachment, and the ignorance. If you have these three, wherever you go, you are unhappy.
Sure.
If you don't have these three, wherever you go, you are happy. So another thing is the Kala Chakra Tantra. It teaches about three things: external, internal, and the alternative. External, it talks about the map of this.
It's like exoteric and esoteric.
Yeah, esoteric. External means external, everything external. The formation of universe.
Yeah.
How the functions of the sun, moon.
Yeah. The table, the chair.
Tables and everything. The external, everything is external. The internal means mostly about the human body and the energies inside. Yeah. So therefore, the Buddha said that these are two are correlated.
Because how you feel on the inside tends to create the external world.
External, So therefore, also when we think, for example, like inside our body, there may be viruses, so many viruses, countless number of viruses, virus, bacteria.
Sure.
For them, our body is not a human body. For them, it's a universe. The key, the most important reason, or the key goal of Buddhism is to make somebody happy. That's the key.
Sure.
Key.
But if people believe in the West that they're floating through space and there's billions of other planets and it's random and there was a Big Bang, from my experience, people are a bit less unhappy than the philosophy or truth of a flat Earth that's divine and all the stars are going around us. Because with that spiritual truth or that spiritual philosophy, people are becoming more empowered and more happy.
You have to remember, very important, point number one is that you have to learn a little bit about culture of Tantra.
To learn about the Buddhist philosophy of Jambudeva.
Not just Buddhist philosophy, about Jambudeva. Because one thing is clear that there was a Jambudeva picture before Buddha. Very clear. You have shown me. And then Buddha hasn't the first person who wrote that Jambudeva picture. It was already there.
It was before him.
Before him. So why he took that?
Yes, this is interesting. But maybe in his enlightened state, he saw it was true.
No, his question is why he took that? Is that maybe, and the Buddhist teaching, the key thing is to make people happy, to make all sentient beings happy, to make everything enlightened. So that's the key goal. So who knows? He took that already, the picture, and then he took that and used it as an example to show people, to show sentient beings that, like this map, the inside body is like this and that, energy is like this and that. So it's important. Now they
So you're
can.
saying to Buddha it didn't matter if it was real or true, he was just using it as a vehicle for happiness.
Yeah, that may be the case. So why I'm saying this because, as I said before, Sutra and Tantra. Sutra is supposed to be the Buddha's, like it's like a tractor, it's like a vehicle, or it's like a motorcycle.
It's a vehicle for consciousness.
If you go by motorcycle, you may take maybe 20 years to reach, like England, maybe 1 month to reach England. But if you use the rocket, maybe 1 hour. So just like Sutra and Tantra, Sutra is very slow, Tantra is very fast. So Sutra is mostly about the taming mind. Tantra is mostly about what? It's using the body energy, the energies, so we call Tibetan, we call this Roma Kyangma Uma. Means the moon-like energy and the sun-like energy. Just as moon moving around this universe or the earth, the Kyangma energy moves similar pattern. So when the eclipse happens, eclipse means, what is eclipse? Means sun, moon and the earth in a straight line. Inside the body, these two are
in union
form, and at that union form, what the energy, the name of energy is Uma. When these two energy in a uniform, this energy is called Uma energy.
It's like the male and the female is
in the middle, in unit form, and that is the thing what we need for enlightenment
to go up.
Yeah. To go up.
This is the same in Kabbalistic tradition. You merge the male and the female, the moon and the sun, and then you can go up.
So that's a tantra. So therefore, there are many practitioners nowadays, few practitioners who know by just being aware of their wind energy. They know where's the moon and where's the sun.
Sure.
And then when they feel like these two are energy coming together, and they know this is eclipse. So that's
the Dalai Lama said that Mount Meru was all a myth, didn't he?
He said that. He said that. But he said it's very important to learn it because of certain reasons. This is why I mentioned.
To do with the Tantra of Kalashakra.
Tantric culture, and then also when we offer to, in Tantra, what's very important is to have the teacher-student relationship.
Sure.
Because in Tantra is very mystic.
Sure.
Very mystical. In the Sutra we have this kind of rules and regulations, everything.
We meditate on the text and we get some morals and feelings.
Something like that. Tantra is Tantra, it's very mystical.
Sure.
Once you have this teacher-student relationship, very strong.
Like initiation.
Initiation, something, yes. The student, become enlightened, very, mysteriously.
So this goes back to what you're saying. Maybe the Jambu Dwipa and Mount Meru, you're saying the Buddha maybe used these maps to help people. And you're saying that Buddha possibly didn't think they were true.
That's what I'm saying, because that's why I'm saying Tantra and Sutra I mentioned, categorized, I separated. So Tantra is mostly about the inner energy.
Yeah, it's the mystical side.
Mystical side. It uses the bodily energy. So Sutra trying to tame mind, through mind meditation. But Sutra and Tantra, it uses the the body energies.
Like Kundalini in Vedic.
So this has stronger effect to your mind. It is like a rocket.
Yeah, it's like a rocket ship.
It's like a rocket. So therefore I think Buddha, in order to prove a point, in order to teach the inner, he might have used the external one, which is already there.
But you don't know. You're saying might. You're not sure.
I'm not sure, because what I'm saying is Dalai Lama said once, he said, this culture tantra doesn't make sense. Culture tantra makes sense, but the Jambudeva,
the cosmology doesn't make sense.
Cosmology, in this world, he said this doesn't make any sense.
But it does. Why doesn't it make sense?
That's what Dalai Lama said.
Yeah, I know
he's supposed to be the highest of all.
Yes.
So, what I'm trying to say is, but he also says that it is useful.
But in real world, in the physical world, he's saying NASA and everything have proved to us it's a ball.
It's a ball. So therefore,
so in Tibetan schools with children, it's being taught that it's a ball and we're flying around space.
In the normal schools, everything's taught in English.
Yeah.
So you have to, you have to teach what the text says, English text says.
Yes.
So in English text you find everything is, in a ball, like a ball.
Yeah.
In monastic, there are so many, as I said before, schools.
And then they will be teaching the Mount Meru,
Mount,
Jambu.
yeah, Jambudeva. There are so many people who believed that, who thought that Buddha was lying.
Buddha was
lying.
About,
many people are there.
About Jambu.
Not only Jambu, everything.
About everything.
Everything.
Well, in the Lotus Sutra, does it not say, Buddha says, all my teachings before this are like, they're like me playing. But the Lotus Sutra, I really mean it. This supersedes all my other teachings.
It says that the universe, description of the formation of the universe in Kalachakra system and the description of the universe in the modern science are totally different.
Yes.
That is formation. Formation, if you look at the formation, if you see the descriptions of the formation about the universe in the Kalachakra system and the modern science, for me, Kalachakra system looks more reasonable.
Yes.
Because modern science now, this is the toughest subject actually.
There are many people, as I said to you the other day, there are many people exposing the modern system as having a lot of errors and being full of lies.
I mean, the formation of the universe, the description.
Yeah, the Big Bang. This is
now
you can't have something coming out.
This
of
is
nothing.
what the Kalachakra system also says, because the modern because now the topic formation of the universe is the hardest topic.
It's a very hard topic.
Hardest.
Cosmology,
hardest. You can say hardest or the easiest. Two things. Because hardest because nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Nobody has the proof. And the easiest because again nobody knows. You can say whatever you like.
You can say whatever you like because nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
But we can, with rationale and the mind.
No, the rational thing
prove some things wrong.
Rational thing is that the Western science said that 13 billion years ago, some kind of gas.
They can't prove this.
I mean, no. The thing is, it formed and then it condensed, and then it exploded.
Yes.
And then it cooled down, and so many things.
And everything was spinning, and planets formed.
In the Kalachakra system, it says that, but now the Western science could not say how this beginning came from. They say that gas came up. How this gas came up?
They say something came from nothing.
Nothing.
Which doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. Now the Kalachakra system says that. It says that there's no beginning, no end.
This is the same in Kabbalistic terms.
There's no beginning, no end. And then they also say that Kalachakra says that mind has no beginning, mind has no end.
It's completely vast.
Completely vast.
Yeah.
You cannot pinpoint.
Yeah.
This is the first and this is the last.
It's infinite.
Infinite, So if you say like this, from this, something started, if you say like this, how this first one?
Yes. This is where a lot of mainstream science falls down.
Yeah, this is falls down. But that's why I'm saying science has its limit.
Yes.
Especially in terms of physical things.
For sure. Like with gravity, as you probably know, gravity doesn't exist. It's a mental theory. No one's measured the graviton.
So that's why in the Kalachakra system, first when we say this regarding the universe model, first we talk about beginning of mind as no end. The enlightened mind means when these three negative emotions, hatred, anger,
have
gone, that's what enlightened. But that doesn't mean that mind is died. Mind has died. No, mind is still there. So that's why this is the main thing.
The mind is like the universe.
It's like the universe. So, so that's why in the Kalachakra scriptures, there's something called 5 elements. It talks about 5 elements.
Yes. It's like Chinese system.
Like Chinese system, 5 elements. When this universe, it says that everything is impermanent.
Yes.
When something is there, after some time it collapses. It will, it's like a fluid. Everything is fluid, not like permanent.
Yes. This is a bit like the Shiva archetype.
Yeah. So not just impermanent, fractions of a second. Within fraction of a second, everything is changing. But we are not aware of that. we just aware of the big changes, not small changes. Actually, everything's changing.
Yeah,
Like
a pendulum can never be still.
No,
Pendulum is
no,
always
yeah,
moving.
yeah. So this is culture consciousness. So therefore, the universe, one universe dies, and then it will, energy never dies.
Sure.
Very important. Energy never dies.
It just transmutates.
Transmutate. So for example, like carbon wheat, it changes to something else. So it leaves some kind of
energy,
and then also remains like a if you burn some ashes, some kind of in a subatomic particle remains some ashes, and then after some time again it come into life. After some time it again die down, and then again it remains in some kind of static form or something like ashes. Again it come into life. So some these kind of cyclic things.
This is similar to the Vedic with the Brahma. Like one day of Brahma is like a billions of years to us, and then he blinks, and then another universe is created, and Shiva destroys. This is also explained in the Vedic.
But why they use this Brahman and these things to date is because maybe it has better impact to the listeners.
It's easier for the mind to attach to a visual art.
Visual arts. So they use art because they are skillful. Skillful people always use this kind of art or something.
Same with Tibetan.
So
that's why art everywhere.
So this is the main thing. It's like cyclic. There's nothing called beginning and no end. It's a cyclic. It's no end.
And this is the color chakra.
Color chakra system says like this. So therefore, and also this is the formation. Regarding structure, the formation again. It says like first when this kind of universe in form of ash or something, in an atomic form. First, the wind element. There are 5 elements.
Yes.
Within that 5 elements, what the last is the space element, which is already there. You cannot. It's just like static. Wind element is a little bit subtle, more subtle than other elements like fire.
Sure.
Water. These are not so subtle as compared to this wind element. It says that the first wind element was formed.
So emanation, more dense.
Yeah. Wind. When the wind interaction, what is going to happen to wind when wind element interaction? Some heat. Then because of that, the heat came, and that's why fire formed. When wind and fire comes together, it
creates more fire.
Comes some kind of, it can fire, but also maybe vapor also. Some humidity.
Which is water.
So when water, because of wind and the fire, it shakes, what happens? It's like a milk. When milk is shaken, butter will come up. That's why how the earth formed. Like milk is shaken, butter will come up. So automatically. So how the universe formed. It forms like this.
Less subtle.
Less subtle to the more subtle.
Very similar to Kabbalistic creation story.
Something like that. Yeah. Then these kind of things formed. Now the thing is, in the Buddhist scripture or the culture, unlike the Western philosophy only talk about material thing.
Yes, it talks about nothing subtle or nothing metaphysical.
Everything material.
Sure.
Material.
I agree.
So Buddhism, we talk more about, especially Eastern philosophy, we talk more about the mind.
What we cannot see.
What we cannot see.
What do you think Tibetan Buddhism will do in 5 years if this flat earth thing gets really big?
Because of that, Dalai Lama also always using this kind of quote, Buddha's quote, that if something proves wrong, we should listen it.
Yes.
Especially the external thing, like physical thing, the personal dharma, whatever things, we should be open it. So once, if somebody has very, very good proof,
then they will look at it.
What is flat?
Sure.
Buddhism is the first religion.
The Buddha. I completely agree.
Accept this. This makes Buddhism very adaptable.
Sure.
Very open-minded.
Because this is just the outer, the external.
Outer.
Because
It's not so
so
important.
safe.
Actually, also not so important. Also, inner thing, compassion, two things: compassion and the wisdom.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Sure.
the kind of openness. You're open to all, because since you are born in kind of
The West?
West,
Yeah.
but still you are kind of into the East.
Yes, yes, I've
That's
been here
a
before.
little bit open out of box kind of
Yeah.
approach.
Yeah.
That's I very much appreciate.
He gave me a thick, rare book, only recently translated into English. Basically, this book explains about the cosmology, but from a Kalachakra tantric angle. It's a book about inner work ultimately. I hope to have a look at this book quite soon. Now, 10 years ago I was in Nepal, and I liked a painting I saw, and I've had it on my wall for 10 years in the different locations I've lived. It's of the Kalachakra mandala. In her essay, The Wheel of Time, Temporal Cycles, Cadencing the Timeless Gestures of Everyday Life, Claude B. Levinson says that this is Vajrayana's most complete teaching, at once the opening up of the road to knowledge and the path that leads to harmony. This harmony grows out of a subtle resonance between the human body and mind and the outer universe, which encapsulates them within its astrological and cosmic dimensions. So it's for sure, the path to ultimate truth requires a complete divorce from every mainstream scientific, historic, archaeologic, geologic, and religious narrative. Do I believe the Vedic texts regarding the other lands, Varshas, and our cosmology with hell worlds below and spirit worlds above? I am 90% on board. I have more respect for the Rishi Masters who could see in the astral over some Freemasonic Illuminati archonic psychopaths. What do you believe? I will leave it up to you. People either throw out the supernatural altogether and become slaves to mundane reason and dogmatic science, or they reject reason altogether and blatantly surrender and abase themselves before the gods. Either way, they are under control. It is like atheists get a warm fuzzy feeling from NASA, and flat earthers get a warm fuzzy feeling from giving the finger to the establishment. But it does seem like a bunch of misfit truthers online are the keepers of wisdom these days. But these misfits, me included, are on the front line. Flat earth is so rich, as it is a seesaw. One gets double bubble. It brings down the house of cards and presents divinity. No other truth genre can do this. The images you see are of the new temple of the Vedic, being built in northeast India. It will represent Vedic cosmology. I've phoned these people and emailed them, asking them if they're going to present a flat or spherical Earth, and I've received no reply to my multiple requests. I don't see this temple as random. The Vedic knowledge is going to make a comeback. So maybe all these ancient flood stories are the ice wall melting, allowing movement to come in or out of this Varsha. There are ancient tales all around the world of boats arriving with learned men coming to teach the ways of farming and of harmonic civilization. In mystery schools they teach that Noah was a highly initiated priest who kept sacred knowledge safe and moved it from one place to another. In the Book of Enoch it says that he walked out of here. Elohim took him out of this wicked world due to his state of evolved perfection. If we really let our imaginations run wild, maybe the fall from Eden and the tree was humanity being cast out from land nearer Mount Meru. We were cast out of a higher vibration, a reality with a higher frequency. The Mahabharata and the Srimad Bhagavatam both talk about carnations of God that appear in the different Varshas. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 10.89.47, the Lord's chariot passed over the 7 islands of the middle universe, each with its ocean and its 7 principal mountains. Then it crossed the Lokaloka boundary and entered the vast region of total darkness. Here is a quote I like from the 16th century book, the Ain Akbari, commissioned by Akbar the Great, the greatest ruler of the Mughal dynasty in India. It is here, O Brahman, that according to the fruits of people's action, the state of Brahman, of the Lord of the Immortals, of the gods, and likewise the births of deer, beasts, and that of inanimate objects, are attainable. This is the field of karma such as exists nowhere else. O thou wise among Brahmins, it is the heart's desire even of the gods to be deprived of their state as gods, to come to earth as men. Man here does that which even the gods and the asuras are not able to do. People here are bound by the chains of karma, and are anxious to finish that karma. They do no works moved by the least happiness. This is interesting. In the 90s, a 13-mile crop circle of a Sri Yantra appeared in Oregon. Now some men came forward and said they did it mucking about, but offered no in-progress proof of their creativity. Now, I know how hard these are to draw, and maybe, just maybe, this is intelligence from another area on Bhumandala or from above, giving us a message. For the Sri Yantra looks a bit like a map of our expanded reality. It has strong links to the primordial sound of Om. Let me recite one verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam 5.16.4. The great Sukadeva Goswami said, "My dear king, there is no limit to the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's material energy. This material world is a transformation of the material qualities, yet no one could possibly explain it perfectly, even in a lifetime as long as that of Brahma. No one in the material world is perfect, and an imperfect person could not describe this material universe accurately, even after continued speculation. It's plain to see that it's hard for us to be objective about the cosmology, because we are inside the paradigm. I don't think the map or maps can be solved with just mind and rationale. All these CGI graphics and machines like astrolabes, they cannot explain the whole material universe as they are all defective. It needs an esoteric angle, an altered state." So while making this video, I spent a couple of months travelling around India. My second time in India. If you've never jumped into the wind before, I really recommend it. Many will immediately think of the word backpacking, but you can use a suitcase, even a briefcase. What I'm talking about is living in the intuition, the signs and synchronicities as fully as one can. So one arrives in a town, left or right, check the intuition, feel the energy. Overhear a conversation walking past someone, sounds interesting, turn back, say hello. The universe is giving us signs all the time, and we need to be in a passive state to see them, to tap into the subtle energy more. In normal routine life, the signs and synchronicities are not so apparent, and it's hard to live in the intuition. But when one jumps like a leaf into the wind, into a new place in a different culture, one experiences the universal hermetic law of correspondence much more amplified. The law of vibration going to vibration, frequency to frequency. So when travelling in the wind, like a leaf in the wind, you attract the frequencies close to your own. So it's a great mirror to see what one attracts and where one is. Don't push, don't pull, don't snatch. Just set your energy, be in your energy, content. Sit in a cafe, stand at a street food vendor, do nothing. But soon enough, the people and experiences you need will come to you. If you push or pull or snatch, it's less fluid, less organic. Be in flow, gentle effort, skillful means. I've done this leaf into the wind gig in quite a few countries. It's sort of a strange hobby addiction of mine, if you like. And in India, I would say is the best place to do this, as the old magic, myth, pantheon and wisdom still roll down from the Himalayas, down through the valleys, down through the rivers, through each village and town, this magic runs, as they each have so much divine devotion and sacredness that the old gods are very much still alive here. Whereas in the West, the energies of oppression, fear and guilt have pretty much made the old gods run back to the astral plane. With the leaf in the wind gig in a completely different culture, one can look back into one's own life and one's own focus of energy more objectively. There's more clarity, and one can relook at what serves oneself and what impedes oneself. I like to change the energy a lot when travelling: beach, temple, mountains, village, city, with lots of motion and distance. For in motion, whether it be plane, bus or train, to an unknown place in a foreign culture, the soul processes and it lets go of stuff. Motion is good for the soul, for energy is moving. India is not really a holiday. It's more work than a holiday. My life in Spain is much more of a holiday. For in India there are tests and experience, crazy days, still days, reflections, projections, stillness, and vivid dreams in the Himalayas of times past. The actual concept of a holiday is a little strange though, is it not? Millions of people living most of their lives being told what to do by a boss, then spending 2 weeks living like a Maharaja somewhere. It's too polarized, a strange and abrupt contrast. All I'm trying to say is that it's good to travel, to really travel, like a carefree nomad. It's good for the soul's growth. It's scary, it's fun, it's exciting, and it's one of the best ways to know the self. Doing this alone is best, as with a friend or partner the karma is shared. If alone, it's a purer resonance for one soul. This doesn't mean not to meet people along the way and share for a time. The paradox is that in travelling, one realises one doesn't need to travel, as all is inside, and the outer theatre taking on different images matters not. But the new and fresh energies coming at the self for sure gives growth, messages and evolution. In these times in India, I've not really watched any flat earth videos or known what's been going on in the community. I can now clearly see the community is quite infested with ego, narcissism, paranoia, shilliness and trolls, amidst a lot of love and unity. And there is a fine line between all of these, and I see this more clearly now I've stepped away for a while. The flat earth movement is not a label I'm pretty cool with either. It is a paradigm shift. But as the flat earth community is 100% online, it creates narcissism and paranoia because people are on stage presenting themselves, and also because people are connecting without meeting face to face, where more energy etherically uploads and downloads. Think of this: someone makes a song on the guitar and posts it on YouTube. Great, it sounds good. But be there with the person live and hear them, watch them, and it's a much richer and deeper experience. The flat earth community is a digital community, and it needs to somehow step out into the tangible real world more. One cannot really pay tax, live in materialism and talk of truth on stage. Nature is truth, freedom is truth, and one needs to align with nature and freedom to really champion truth. Many YouTubers I have seen are insular beings in a bedroom somewhere, munching cookies in a dark room, attached to a particular truth, looking for friends online and to fit in, to belong. For me, to champion truth without a spiritual grounding or a spiritual practice is for me like presenting oneself as an expert on flowers but without any seeds. Those on YouTube focusing only on the kings of deception all the time is not a healthy sign of a human. Yes, we need soldiers in these trenches, but the snake of humanity's evolution back to source has two ends. At the top, promoting love, awareness and compassion, and at the bottom end of this snake, slashing the archonic Decepticons with the swords of truth. It's good to play at both ends, or one may suffer. It's good to remember, wickedness is screwed by purity. I know people very aligned to truth but don't go online. They could be in the truth of divinity, the truth of their service or mission. A Sufi musician is spreading truth. A realized being is spreading truth. Someone who channels poems is spreading truth. Someone planting food is spreading truth. Someone doing tribal psychedelic art is spreading truth. Someone working with cob building is spreading truth. Truth comes in many guises, and information awareness spreading is just one small part of a very big jigsaw. It's not the be-all and end-all. I heard a great quote from a mystic friend of mine I met in India. The ego desires to go from a nobody to a somebody, but the mystic seeks to go from somebody to nobody. So why am I into flat earthing, you may ask? Yes, the whole flat earth gig is investment in the illusion. But here's the key. It can also help millions realize the illusion. India is purer than the West. At an early age, they understand karma, reincarnation, moral compass. Growing up reading books like the Ramayana instead of watching football and MTV creates a much purer human. There are less demons and archons in India because there is so much more sacredness and devotion. Bhakti yoga is rife everywhere. But in the Western churches, there is predominantly the energies of fear, guilt and pain. In India, there is just more sacred reverence in the hearts of people, richer archetypes to connect to, and this makes the archons run back to the astral. I want to talk a little about deity yoga. Billions of people believe in one deity, and then in that, many of these humanoids are saying all the other deities don't exist. These people I find strange. For all deity exists in the astral, it's just some are easier to call than others, and some are more suited at different times in a person's life, and therefore easier to connect to and more suitable at different times. So let's pick one, Shiva. It doesn't matter if you believe in him or not. I promise you this. If you study the attributes, properties, pantheons, stories, myth, incantations, mantras, and most importantly, the symbolism of the archetype of Shiva, and then you go into a quiet and ancient Shiva temple and sit meditating upon these matters, he comes, full power. With deity yoga, I find the Vedic deities such as Vishnu, Krishna, Shiva much easier to connect to than other deity. But this might be due to my own past lives, or due to how ancient they are, or due to the amount of mental stimuli these deities have received from billions of humans over generations. So all godness, deity and archetype exist, and worship energy creates an ethereal plasma to them. But one needs to know the symbolic meanings, as this is the currency in the astral. But in the West, this is crazy talk, and people are in reality more connected to archons, not deity or beautiful archetype. For living in capitalism calls the archons, living in greed calls them, codependent relationships calls the archons, living in competitiveness calls them, lying calls them, anger calls them, alcohol calls them, narcissism calls them, materialism calls them, and an imbalanced ego calls them. It's about time people in the West built temples to worship their astral archonic masters, but they know not that this is the case. But sacred reverence in the heart destroys the archons and is a platform for calling beautiful deity. To say Jesus is the only deity is a self-inflicted NLP mental illness. I'm sorry to be brutal, but it's true. But to dogmatically isolate it is ignorance and falling into a trap. And if in this trap, I don't see how such a human could be championing truth. To finish with, please allow me to recite a small text once spoken by Rumi. There are two kinds of intelligence, one acquired, as a child in school memorizes facts and concepts from books and from what the teacher says, collecting information from the traditional sciences as well as from the new sciences. With such intelligence, you rise in the world. You get ranked ahead or behind others in regard to your competence in retaining information. You stroll with this intelligence in and out of fields of knowledge, getting always more marks on your preserving tablet. There is another kind of tablet, one already completed and preserved inside you, a spring overflowing its spring box, a freshness in the centre of the chest. This other intelligence does not turn yellow or stagnant, it's fluid, and it doesn't move from outside to inside through conduits of plumbing learning. This second knowing is a fountainhead from within you, moving out.
Sometimes see